In this ball, we have a specific name. Inside, there is an insertion of the camera, and it's movable. The camera could move upside down and from left to right. So this could give you different angles of the view. So with this gyroscope, you could have the multiple angles of the picture capture. So it's better to work with this gyroscope than to have a man holding a camera inside the helicopter. So today, in order to bring to you different angles of the tidal bore, we have used all those fixed cameras. Behind this gyroscope, there's the binded cameras. It's vertical. It gives you the vertical view of the tidal bore, and you can see the spectacular view of the tidal bore. This is our working booth. We are doing the final preparation. According to the regulation, we will take off by 11:30. During the live stream, this will be my place. In order not to disturb the work of my colleague, I'd like to show you around. Just now, we talked about the smaller cameras attached to the lower side of the helicopter, and here we have some others. On the wings of the helicopter, there are some other cameras. Every time when the helicopter turns, when it moves towards the upside or downside, and this camera would capture the beautiful movements of the helicopter. This is the third year that we are using the helicopter to capture the Qiantang tidal bore, and it's also the second time for me to cooperate with Captain. Captain Xu is the captain of the helicopter. It's the second year for you to participate in this event. So over the past 2 years, what is your feeling? And what is the specialty of this year? You know that around the Mid-Autumn Festival, there will be a very huge tidal bore here in the Qiantang River, and a lot of people will come to the city to view the tidal bore. It's a great honor for us to take the mission for the second time. This year, there are some new things about our helicopter. We use the same one as last year. However, the equipment and the installations, they have been improved. For example, we have the high-resolution cameras inside and outside the helicopter, so as to give you different angles of the picturing. We will also make changes with the height, with the speed, and also with the traveling experience, so that you can feel a totally new sightseeing on the tidal bore. For the netizens, maybe they didn't know what it is like to view a tidal bore. So could you please give us a brief introduction? Actually, each year things would change, and we cannot make sure that the tidal bore would appear each year, and we really hope that today and for this time we can have a big luck to see the huge tidal bore. And the waves are also changing all the time inside the river. As mentioned by Captain, last year we have experienced some lucky and also unlucky things. What is lucky is that from the first day of the flight, we have captured a micro tidal bore, and for the following days, we have seen the cross-style tidal bore. These are the things that I've never met before. This is the lucky side, and for the unlucky side of last year, over the whole period of 4 days, the weather is not good. For us to capture the tidal bore in the sky, it's a little bit hard because the fog and also the mist in the sky would obstruct our view. However, today it's a sunny day and it's not very cloudy, a lot of sunshine. And this would give us a very good and clear view of the river from the sky. So I expect that things would be easier for us to capture the tidal bore from the helicopter. And from our trial of flight, we find that there are fewer flows of the river from the upstream of the branches of the Qiantang River. That means there will be a higher concentration of sediment in the Qiantang River. So let's have a look what it will be like in this year's tidal bore. So that is about the time to get on board inside this helicopter. So please follow us. What are the preparations before the takeoff? Inside our working booth, a lot of things around us. This is the surveillance screen, monitoring screen. Because we are sitting inside the helicopter, we have a very limited view span. So we need to use this monitoring screen. All the gyroscope pictures will be transferred to this monitoring screen, and then I could make an interpretation of the pictures to you. And now I'm going to put on the earphones. This is a headphone that will allow me to communicate with the captain and also the colleagues around me. And I'm going to set the Bluetooth connection between my mobile phone and my earphone. Please wait for a second. I'd like to take a moment to finish the preparations. There's a problem with my Bluetooth connection. As you can see that we have a lot of complicated equipments. We're still working on the Bluetooth connection. Okay, it's connected. Now I'm turning off the sound of my mobile phone and we are about to take off. Now we are testing the sound. We are communicating with the headquarters of CCTV in order to regulate the sound. Now we could only provide with the sound inside the cabin of the helicopter. And as you could see, there's a lot of noise inside the cabin. By 11:30, we will take off. Now it's 11:26 minutes. This is our cameraman. Please say hello to our viewers. This is the first time for our cameraman to do this live stream for the Qiantang title board. What is your expectation? The first time for you to go on such a mission, what is your expectation? We hope to give you the best view of the tidal bore. We know that it's the first time for you to come to the city of Haining, and everything that we are going to see would be new to our cameraman. I will continue to talk with our cameraman and also brief to you the key information. And another colleague, his name is Zhejiang. He comes from the Tibetan Autonomous Region. Maybe you could not see him now. I still would like to invite him to say hello to all of you. What is your expectation and what's your feeling? It's also the first time for me to be on such a mission. And I think that from the point of view from the helicopter in the sky, it will be different to see the tidal bore. However, I think that my body conditions are not yet adapted to the flight, because I've already tried with 2 previous trials of the flight and I could not help vomiting. But today I brought with me some medicines. And our colleague Zhejiang, because he comes from Tibet region, he has already climbed the Everest mountain. And he must know that when we are working on a plateau, the conditions are extremely difficult. And today it's in a similar case, and we have to overcome all the difficulties, like the dizzy feelings of the flight. This is the pilot cabin. The 2 captains, they are working on the final preparations, and they are working with the monitoring tower to check on all the data. And we are about to take off now. Now in the image, you can see that there is a building in front of our helicopter that is the local government of Haining City. Each year, for the mission on the tidal bore, we collaborate closely with the municipal government. So the plaza in front of the government building would serve as a field of takeoff of our helicopter. From our camera, you could see that our camera would move downside to give you a look at the administration center of Haining.
You can tell with these many years of development. We can see this is the city of Haining, and they are, I believe, are all the residential buildings, and we will cross the whole city. And we were heading to the Qiantang River. So you are right now watching the live stream we bring to you from the helicopter. And we will provide you the 360 degree of all the views. All right, so you can see right now our helicopter is crossing the city of Haining and heading to Qiantang River. So it's quite noisy. I hope our viewers can hear me clearly because I need to speak much louder. To all the viewers, I'm also preparing the live stream and also the a connection with the TV set. So I will also bring the live reporting on TV in the coming minutes. So you can see outside the windows a lot of greens, a lot of land. With this year's expansion of the size of Haining City, but they also reserve many lands for farming. All right, you can see right now coming to us. This is the Qiantang River. This is Qiantang River. And the first thing what we need to do is we need to find the tidal bore. And the captain just told me, I believe that's ahead of us, just in front of us, the tidal bore. Let's find it out. So I'm looking at the monitor, but at the same time, I'm also looking for the tidal bore. We need to look at where is the tide. It's not that easy. So we need to find some crew and find the tide. From my angle here, I believe actually the terrain is not that perfect. So there are a lot of sand pits and also the sediment under the Qiantang River. So as I introduced at the beginning of our live stream, so we talk about there actually quite a lot of sediment at the Qiantang River. So that will also impact the whole Qiantang River meets East China Sea. So I can tell you right now what I see here is a lot of sediment, a lot of sand and mud. I know a lot of noises here, so I also need to speak even louder. Hope our viewers can hear me. I will try my best. So let's find the tide first. So let's look at our right hand side, or let's also follow the wave. So our captain right now is turning right. We will follow the wave. So right now you are looking at, this is the height of the wave. Very clear in the picture. This is just link in one line and heading forward. The white one, I can tell the color in white, that's the head of the wave. So our viewers may ask, so why it should look like this? Just like a white chain, moving quite fast. So that's because related with the terrain. So we talk about that's 100 kilometers for the Qiantang River meets East China Sea. Right now, what we are looking at is 20 kilometers. Think about it's an 8-lane road and suddenly narrowed to 2 lanes. There'll be a lot of car piping up. So same for the Qiantang River. So for the waves, the head of the waves and also the falling waves, they quite accumulate each other, and right now it's looking like that's all the white part. Actually, that's a lot of waves getting together. So believe it, right now this is the south bank of Qiantang River. So you also can tell we see some birds. So that's the water birds. Hope our viewers can see them. That's also having a race with the tide wave. So they are not just to say, hey, we see who should run faster. I believe they're also waiting for a chance. What they are waiting for? Because for the wave, they not really bring the sediment up to the surface, but they also bring a lot of fishes up to the surface. So the birds, they're not actually just for the sake of running. They are waiting a chance to catch fishes. What a smart birds. We are right now following the head of the wave and flying to the center of the Qiantang River. So you can see right now there is a curve, so that's a quite big sand dune. So that sand dune actually stops part of the wave. So we can tell the white chain actually broken at this area. So we can tell the sand dune actually break the white chain. So white chain is the head of the wave. So you can tell, yes, this part. So that sand dune also changed the shape of the wave. We talk about this here, actually we not have a lot from the upstream. So this actually originated from Anhui province. So we talk about the Qiantang tidal bore. Actually that's go against the wave or the stream. That's also brought a lot of sediment or sand to the Qiantang River. So that the sands actually accumulated here. So it finally became a sand dune. That sand dune will basically become a obstacle on the way of the wave. So that the Qiantang River or the head of the curve or the head of the wave also will be broken here at the sand dune. the shape will change. So this is our captains. So they control the helicopters, but also at the same time they also talk to the control tower. The tidal bore right now is heading to a direction. I don't know whether our viewers are familiar with that or not. Maybe you also can open your navigation app. You can look at the shape. Actually, the shape changed many times. They also change directions. So from our head, I believe we can see this one very clear. That's also another point to change the shape or change the formation. So we talk about Qiantang tidal bore. At this small angle, you can tell right now the wave right now moving forward at different speed. So on the right hand side, this part moving faster than the left hand side part, which because at the right hand side there is a sand dune. So the wave actually climbing on the sand dune. Hope our viewers can see it. So we talk about why we have the formation of the tidal bore. We talk about that because also the shape of a horn. That's also the specific terrain here at the Qiantang River. So there are basically a lot of different reasons behind the Qiantang River tidal bore. Right now, we are heading to the northwest from southeast. And we also follow the head of the wave. So you can see our helicopter also make the turns because we're right now following the wave. Let's give a try to find a landmark along the route. So let the wave travel a little bit. Let's first look at where is the Anlan Tower. Let's try to find Anlan Tower. So right now I'm on the helicopter, so it's very hard me to tell the direction. North, east, west, south. So we talk about the sand dune. Actually, that sand dune divided the wave into two parts, and we can tell right now the wave still quite moving forward in a powerful way. So wave right now also moving forward in different speed. And right now look at Tashan Dam. So it's this one. This is the Tashan Dam. And believe this is the first quite large size T-shaped dam. So what's the role of the T-shaped dam? That's actually help to slow down or actually mitigate the impact brought by the wave to the bank. And hope you can see it. There is a Anlan pagoda on the greens. So there is a story behind. It goes like this. In the ancient time, there's the monsters in the Qiantang River, and that actually impacts the safety of all the citizens at this area. So the people really afraid of the wave. So then they should think about a way to fight against the wave. We talk about in the ancient times, actually, the pagoda, actually, its role is to safeguard the people and fight against the wave. So that is also why there is a Anlan pagoda. That pagoda help to fight against the monsters. That is Anlan pagoda here. Actually, it's experienced many years of history. You always can find these kind of stories along the Qiantang River route. Actually tell the stories, talk about how people get along with or how people interact with the wave. So before, people think they're quite afraid of the wave, they want to dominate or control the wave. But right now, we find the wave and we watch the tidal bore. We talk about today because of the tidal door, the eastern part of the wave maybe cannot really up to the height of the Tashan pagoda. That's a pity, but let's moving forward to find the rise of the tidal bore.
We are following the head of the southern tidal bore. Let's see whether it is hitting the big mouth. Later we will show you the position of that mouth in the river. Now you can see this tidal bore is heading towards a very strange direction. Usually, the tidal bore would move from east to west. However, this one moves from south to north. We're now communicating with the TV end to see when we would bring this live stream to our TV end programs.
就确定了12点。
It will be around 12:05.
大缺口在哪儿？
Where is the big opening mouth, the breach?
我能看到一个很大的沙丘，但是没有看到潮啊。
I could see a large sand dune.
算一下这个时间，潮到大缺口的时间，绕到这个潮的后方，算一下这个时间。
We could also calculate a little bit to see at which moment that our tidal wall from the south would hit that bridge.
刚刚我调整了一下自己的位置状态，因为紧接着我马上要准备电视端的直播了。
Just now I changed a little bit my position inside the cabin because I'm also preparing for the upcoming live stream with the TVN programs.
好，现在我们能看到刚刚我们一直在说的这个东潮之前。
Now on the screen,
东潮根本就
you could see what we mentioned as the eastern tidal wall.
我们看到这个潮水正在慢慢的向塔山坝方向移动。
The tidal wall is moving towards the Tashan
如果说
Dam.
一会儿进直播的时候啊，然后它撞了这个塔山坝，然后我们可能得急速的往大缺口方向移动。
So I'm talking with the captain if then during the live stream, when the tidal wall is hitting hard on the Tashan Dam, we have to accelerate the speed towards the big opening, the bridge of the river.
好，现在我们正在降低高度。
Now we are lowering this helicopter. This is the Tashan Dam that we have introduced to you. And the tidal wall is about to hit this dam. Just now there is the first round of the tidal wall. This is already the second round. And they are relatively weak compared to the previous one. And this weakness is partly due to the sand dune and also a lot of obstacles that they have encountered during their trip. Are we near the bridge of the river? Just now we discussed with the captain to determine our picturing positions so that we could give you the most spectacular views of the tidal bore. Now you could see there is a bridge, and the tidal bores are using their forces to hit hard on this Tashan Dam. The colleagues around me, they say that anyhow it's missed. Until now, it has used its last breath. They lost this round of fight against the Tashan Dam. However, they would start the fight again the next day. This is the spirit of the Qiantang River. We are not afraid of the defeat, and we will always pick up our fight again and again. Never give up. That is the spirit of our river of Qiantang. And now we are heading rapidly toward the upstream. We are looking for another branch of the tidal bore, because that branch of tidal bore is about to hit another site. That is the north bank of the Qiantang River. And this current of tidal bore has already hit the bank here. Some problem with our cameras. You still remember the gyroscope? There's a problem with our gyroscope. We're about to restart it. What you could see now are the tidal bore pushed away by the bank, rejected by the bank. And in front of us, towards the right-hand side, there's a big bridge. That is what we call the huge bridge. Where does this name come from? Actually, each time when there is a big tidal bore of the Qiantang River, the tidal bore would hit hard on this point of the bank, and each time the bank would be distracted by the water force. That's why the people in ancient China have decided to move backwards a little bit this bank. So on the first side, we are retreating. However, we are also defending ourselves by retreating. And around this huge bridge, a lot of relics from the previous constructions, they are left over here. And this current is filling into the huge bridge. When there's a huge tidal bore, water would fill up this bridge. Or even they can create a bigger height of water. And this year, as you can tell, the speed is relatively slow, and they didn't succeed in filling up the whole bridge. A small current goes into the bridge. However, another current, they have just passed by the opening of the bridge and moves forward. From this angle view, you could see that on the bank, a lot of people are gathering to watch the tidal war. A lot of them are living around this sightseeing zone of huge bridge. They are the local people in Haining City. And the tidal war of Qiantang River is an old friend for these people. They could have a chance to watch the tidal war every day. And it's also a reason why this city has attracted so many visitors and tourists to the place. After passing by the huge bridge, this tidal war will continue to go against the flow of the river. You can see different layers in the head of the tidal war. The multiple layers are due to the obstacles in the river, such as the Tashan Dam and other sediment. And now you can see that the force of the river has been significantly reduced. Let's look at the shape. The layers look like the wings of the butterfly. Where does this shape come from? Because after rounds and rounds of obstacles, the water force has been greatly reduced. The Qiantang River flow goes from the west to the east. However, our tidal war moves just to the opposite direction. So after the conflict, after the meeting of those two currents, a tidal war has its force reduced. That's why we have the wing, the shape like a wing, the wing of the butterfly. On the bank, you can see some vehicles. Those are the professional vehicles for the security control. When there's an emergency, this vehicle would come into play to help out. And they are also patrolling to safeguard the people.
Because besides a live streaming online, we will also prepare a live reporting to the TV side. So right now I'm connecting with them and also confirm the time. Right now we are bringing you the live streaming. And what we're having here is the Qiantang River meets East China Sea. So right now we talk about today the Qiantang River tidal bore is not really heading in a very strong, powerful, and fast speed way. But we can tell here we have a cross here. The two currents, they're coming in a different speed, but they right now meet each other. So you can see this is a cross tidal bore.
好的，主持人，现在您看到的是2018钱塘观潮，我们此刻是在直升机上给大家带来现场直播。
So to all the viewers, we're bringing you the live report, and we are actually at the helicopter. And right now, the wave just passed the big mouth or the big gap area. Right now, it become a cross-shaped tidal bore. Hope you can see it. So you can see the two waves. One is coming from the west to east to the west. That's against the wave. Another, actually, they first hit the bank and then came back. That's the backflow bore. So these two tidals or the current meet each other right here. The strong one, that's the backflow bore. So they slowly eat up the smaller wave one. And we also see a lot of seabirds. All these birds, not just for the sake of flying to see the wave, they right now following the wave, what they are looking for, because if you follow the head of the wave, you will find fish. So these birds actually waiting the chance to have a feast. And you can see right now they are right now have a big crowd, right? So beautiful. And with our cameras, and right now we bring you 360-degree, and hope you can see it clearly. This cross is not just only two currents meet together. This is, I believe, three currents. The three currents coming from different angles. Right now, they have a little bit chat here. I believe that's also the beauty of a Qiantang River. Actually, they meet each other or they hit the bank. They not disappear. Actually, they coming back. No matter what kind of difficulties they face, they overcome it and moving forward. And you can see, let's see, the three waves right now coming to two, or how it will look like. Oh, right. You can see right now, okay. Hit each other, meet each other. The strong one, right now, open a new mouth. And the two other waves coming to one. We talk about the tidal bore after passing a big gap area or the big mouth will very slowly became a one line tidal bore. How that one line shaped? Actually, this is the way how it's shaped. So they have several different currents and they meet each other and finally they become one line tidal bore moving forward. In previous years, we talk about the crossing tidal bore that should be formulated before the big shape. But this year, today, it shaped after the big mouth. So it came to us a little bit late than previous years. Why it comes so late? Because the upstream source actually had quite less amount of water, so they also face a lot of different sand dune, and also have quite much accumulated sediment. So all this sediment and dune actually impact the formation of tidal bore, and also because of the less quantity of water. So this year, all these factors make the crossing shape came quite late. So we are also moving to the Yanguan Township. Oh, right, to all the viewers. If you just tune in with us, and you are right now watching the live stream about the Qiantang River meets East China Sea, this is special coverage we bring you from the helicopter. Just now, I just had a live reporting with the TV side, and I will carry you forward with the rest of the live stream. We are at the heli. So from the helicopter, we can tell right now the wave already passed the big mouth, and we also saw the cross tidal bore. Very soon, we're heading to the west side. The wave, we can tell right now, is also climbing up on the seawall. So we can tell right now actually we have a bigger wave here. So I believe that's also the first time we see the wave climbing on the seawall. I believe that's very clear. So right now the wave also moving forward. So let's enjoy some sights of the Qiantang River.
And now the tidal bore is moving towards Yanguan. The viewers on our platform, if you have any questions, if you have any requests, please do not hesitate to leave a message. And during our live stream, we will give you answers. Wherever you want to go, I will show you around so that you can have this unique experience of the tidal bore watch. And the red color part, the white color part is the head of the tidal bore. It's like thousands of horses running ahead. And we can see the multiple layers of the head of the tidal bore. It's also like an army. We have different sections of soldiers inside. If you are on the site, you can not only see this special shape of the tidal bore, but also hear the soaring sound of the water. When we are moving towards the middle of the river, you could see and the position and the shape of this tidal bore is changing all the time. Now we are moving towards the middle line of the river. The head would be narrowed because there will be more concentration of the sediment in the middle of the river. Let's look at the waves now. They are weaker than the previous current of tidal bore because they are climbing up the sand dune. This sand dune is blocking the advancement of the tidal bore. By the two ends, the two extremes of the tidal bore, the forces are also different. In the middle part of the tidal bore, the current is moving faster than the both ends of the tidal bore. Why is that difference? Because there are a lot of obstacles, for example, the artificial dams towards both banks of the river, and that's why they are slowing down the speed of the tidal bore by the two extremes. This is the bout of speed reduction so that we could reduce the hit brought by the tidal bore to the bank. This is a picture from the cabin of the pilot. We are turning back. Now let's look at the head of the tidal bore. It looks like there are three tidal bores with two gaps between them. Actually, those two gaps come from the artificial dam and the sand dunes. So from one single army troop, it turns out to be separated into four parts now. This is the charm of the tidal bore of the Qiantang River. And now the four streams have been combined into three and then finally back into one. For the Qiantang River tidal bore, it's riding against the flow of the Qiantang River. And during their trip, there will be a lot of obstacles waiting for them and separating them into different parts. However, they will continue their trip and finally get their partners back to form one unique stream, one unique current. And then you can see the ripples in multiple layers. It's very beautiful to see. When the tidal board is in one single chain, it looks like there are thousands of horses running ahead. And that is the strong part of the view. And then when we are looking at the ripples following the head of the tidal board, that is the soft side of the water. And behind the head of the tidal board, you could see 3 vehicles following up. They are guaranteeing the security for the audience, for the viewers on both banks. Currently on the bank of the river, a lot of people are waiting and watching the tidal board. People have filled up this road. They are watching and they are walking while taking photos. This vehicle is dragging one motorboat. When there's an emergency, for example, someone falls into the water, then they will use the boat to save the people. It's a big pleasure for us to watch the tidal board. However, we should also remember that security is one of our top priority. We should take preventive measures. For the viewers of our live stream of the Qiantang River tidal board, please do not hesitate to leave the message to us, to leave your comments. If you have any questions, we will do our best to answer you. That is our topic today. Watch the tidal board together from the angle of view from the helicopter. We are moving toward the Yanguan. At that spot, there is a park designated to the tidal board watching. We can see a lot of residences here. The tidal board is still advancing. On the surface of the Qiantang River, we can see that the width is 2.8 kilometers. Here, the width has been narrowed. So the water is under pressure. When the tidal board comes to this spot, the force would be strengthened. Currently, the head of tidal board is moving towards the sightseeing zone. Suddenly, there are more buildings by the side of the river. And someone's leaving a message on our platform. They say that they have observed that there are multiple layers of the head of the tidal board. Now let's have a closer look at this part of the bank. There's a very interesting name of this bank. We say it's a pool of scale. It looks like the scale of the fish. From the dynasty of Ming, we started the construction, and by the first 3 emperors of the Qing dynasty, we have improved again and again the construction because the Qiantang River has flooded and deconstructed the buildings by the bank of the river. That's why they have constructed this pool of scale in order to protect the people living by the riverside. And above the pool of the scale, a lot of boats hanging. The boats belong to the people living in the locale. For those people who have a boat, they have a lot of experience with handling the boat. When there's fewer currents in the river, they would just lower the boat to put them on the surface of the water. And there's a seabird here, as we mentioned before. When there's the head of the tidal bore, this will bring up more fish by this section of the water, and it's the best time for the seabird to have a bite. And for those boats hanging there, we should keep them at a certain degree of height, otherwise they will be carried away by the waves. Now we are following the tidal bore that is moving towards the part of Yanguan. For our viewers, please leave a message and have an interaction with us. And in the picture, we can see there's a big building there. Let's lower a little bit the helicopter. We're at a height of around 10 meters. It's very close to the surface of the water. At my position, I can feel that the temperature cooling down around me because it's so close to the water surface. To our right-hand side, a big building here. This is a water tower constructed by the local government and put into utilization by 2016. This is a monitoring tower. When there is a tidal bore passing by, all the data related to the tidal bore would be collected, for example, the speed and also the height. Now we are living in a time of big data, so we are collecting all the statistics. For those fans of the tidal bore, they are also taking their place on the tower to have a closer look at the tide. As we mentioned before, this is a new construction and it has been consolidated in recent years. People's attitude towards the tidal bore has also changed over time. In ancient days, people were afraid of the water and then they start to fight back. And finally, today we can have a peaceful coexistence with the tidal bore and we play with it, we admire it. After the foundation of the new China by the 1960s, 1970s, we have constructed some other installations. For example, the blue one, the blue monitoring tower. On the body of the construction, there are some marks to show you the height of the water. Today is one of the working days, however, still a lot of people are gathering on the bank to watch the spectacular view of the tidal bore.
And we talk about today's tidal bore actually is quite stronger than the previous 2 days, and we can tell we have more waves, more waters here. So we also gather a lot of viewers and tourists here. We had a viewer ask me a question, talk about whether this happened every year. Yes, the answer is yes. And we talk about that actually they have the waves every month, and they also can watch the tidal bore every day. Actually, we talk about the middle of each month, and also in the morning and noon time of each day, you all can see the waves. So I believe that's a natural pattern of Qiantang River, and because of the gravity of the earth, and also because of the moon, the sun, all these together. So they will have that tidal scenario every day. So they also have the bigger ones every month, and if you want to see the waves, you also can watch in the morning time or the noon time. Alright, this is a site where right now at the Yanguan Township, you can see along the bank many tourists here. And our helicopter actually also flying around a pagoda. That's also a landmark that's called the Zhejiang Pagoda, established in Ming Dynasty, and in Qing Dynasty they rebuilt again. Why called Zhejiang Pagoda? Because in its name, Ao means a sea god or a Qiantang River god. So talk about in the ancient time, the people really afraid because they thinking that the Qiantang River always hit the bank. Why they had the Qiantang River? Because there is a god in the Qiantang River. So because of that god, they think like they will danger their lives, so that is also why they had a pagoda. So we also back to the old story to see actually there are so many pagoda along the route of the Qiantang River, because people in their deep mindset, they believe the pagoda actually can control or dominate the gold, the monster, anything in the Qiantang River. So right now it become the landmark or the sightseeing parts of the Qiantang River. And we can tell right now, if you can stand at a higher level of the pagoda, you can see a better view of the Qiantang River tidal bore. Let's keep our journey along the Qiantang River. Let's follow the tidal bore. Right now we are at 12:39, and I believe around 1 o'clock at CCTV channel 13 will bring you the live stream. So for our viewers, you can watch either on your apps or also can watch on the TV. We bring you from different angles the magnificent scene of the Qiantang River tidal bore. So we bring you the view from the helicopter, and for our TV, I believe they will also bring you the angle from the cars, from the land. We are right now, believe, at the same speed with the wave. we talk about the head of the wave. We want to stay with the head of the wave. So right now we are hovering at the head of the wave. You can tell this is all white. And also the surface of the river divided into two parts. And before the wave came, is the wave, the surface of the river is so calm. But a big change is undergoing. You can see this is a very strong, magnificent scene here that divided the surface of the river into two. Another question, we talk about it hit the bank and how tall is the spring drift. It's different. We talk about, like, say, yesterday, actually, I was in Yanguan Township, and it's around 1.25 meter of the spoon drift, or we talk about the span drift. It depends. It's different. So this is our 9th year to bring a live streaming of Qiantang River tidal bore, and this is my 8th time to be participated as one of the viewers. So I talk about the highest in my memory. It's reached 2.67 meters. So think about that can actually cover the whole Yulin seawall. And we also talk about sometimes it's quite dangerous because people, if you so close to the bank or so close to the seawall, that'll be very dangerous because sometimes the tidal bore will bring you into the river. So that we also keep saying that please do not be too close to the seawall. So we talk about actually the Qiantang River over stages, the highest waves on the 18th day of the 8th lunar month, and it's worth to pay a visit here to see it by yourself. Right now, the Qiantang tidal bore is moving forward, and there's a kind of like a ripples, or actually that's the sand dune. So we talk about actually the Qiantang River or Qiantang tidal bore actually climbing one and another sand dunes. So it's basically a journey of climbing sand dunes, really physical, consuming journey. The captain told me right now here, this is another cross. So we talk about why we have this kind of a cross, because that also climb different sand dunes. So sand dunes basically impact the shape of the tidal bore. So the tidal bore is divided into different strings or currents, and because of they have different speed, they will have a different batch moving forward. So this is another cross here. And the two currents, they climbing the sand dune, and in the end, they becoming into one. Look at the birds. The birds know it so well. It's had has dangers, but we talk about the high risk, high returns. So we talk about their full experience. They know exactly that what they are looking for and when it's the time to get the fish. They know exactly when to get the fish, but also at the same time not get themselves drowned. So that's also the way how the seabirds and the tidal boards get together, how they can create that connection. We talk about that's the law of the nature, and also Mengzi said that we should utilize or leverage the nature of everything. And we can tell right now the Qiantang tidal boards coming forward in different batch. Do you think that's quite like a white dragon? Hope you can see it is like a shape of dragon swimming on the surface of the Qiantang River. We're flying to a higher latitude or the higher height. Hope you can see the full picture. This is the whole channel of Qiantang River. We have some currents that's lag behind. So that's the interesting part. Although they already lag behind, but they not really give up. They still try to catch up. So like the race, although maybe not in the first batch of the fast runners, but I run in my own pace. So the viewer also asked the color of the Qiantang River. Why is so yellow? It's because of polluted? Or what's the reason? For people in Zhejiang province, people are actually quite familiar with the color. We talk about actually the whole East China Sea, actually the color is like this. Because that's had a lot of sediment, a lot of sands and mud inside. So it's compared to the South China Sea or the other seas, the color is quite different. So we'll talk about the East China Sea, the full of sediment and sands. So that's why the color is a little bit yellow. So I also believe that some of the sediment or the sand actually also brought from the Huanghe or Yangtze River. We talk about lush mountain and lucid water, but the color, although it's not that favorable, but I can tell you the fish from the river is so delicious.
So there are always advantages and disadvantages. Let's look backward to my left-hand side. I've noticed a fisherman. He has lowered the boat. Let's fly over there and have a look at his boat. He has just detached that boat and lowered it to the surface of the water. Before, I've introduced to you some information about those hanging boats. For those experienced fishermen, they would find the best moment to detach their boat from the bank and put them on the water surface. Now the boats are moving towards the middle of the river. It seems that both fishermen could have a good harvest and a lot of fresh fish to eat by dinner time. We have also tried the different varieties of fish from the Qiantang River. For those people who love fish, I'd like to share with you some information. The fish inside the Qiantang River would be different from the other normal fish because there is seawater flooding into the river, so sometimes it will also bring the sea fish inside the Qiantang River. Now they are spreading the nest. So when days go by, finally we can have this fish with good taste from the sea and also the fresh taste from the river water. Of course, you cannot find the deep sea fish in this Qiantang River. Let's continue with our trip to find the head of the tidal bore. We'd like to guide you back to the tidal water. Now we are advancing at full speed. Currently the speed is around 100 kilometers per hour. Use your imagination to see how fast we are now. Well, what is the speed of the tidal bore? Actually, is moving at around 20 kilometers per hour. We can use different transportation ways. For example, you can ride a bike, or you can even have a run, or use the skateboard to catch up with the tidal bore. Finally, it proves to be that you cannot win the tidal bore only on a skateboard. When we are moving forward, we could see those openings, water gates. We say that in this part of China, the eastern coastal area of China, a lot of rivers and in the Qiantang River around this part, towards the bottom to the right-hand side, there's a line of constructions. It looks like one Chinese character. That is like the English letter T, the letter T. For the T-shaped dams, so let's lower our helicopter a little bit for you to see. The T-shaped dam, it's like a zone in the river where you can slow the speed of the water. Because when there's a tidal wall, there's a huge amount of water at the same time. You have to lower the speed of the water. And it's very helpful to have the T-shaped dam. Along our trip, actually by the side of the bank, there's more than 50 T-shaped dams. And for the T-shaped dam, it looks like the comb. Why it is in this shape? It's made of concrete. We have formed it into the comb because inside the tidal wall, a lot of sediment, when it goes by this comb shape, the T-shape dam, the sediment would be kept under the comb, the teeth of the comb. So this, at the same time, has made the water cleaner and also, on the other hand, consolidated the construction of the dam. When the tidal water goes over the T-shaped dam, it's also a spectacular thing to watch. And then the water has been separated into different layers. It looks like the scale of the fish. And in the pour of the scale, what are the materials used? Today we use cement to build the bricks. However, here to set up the protection walls of the pool, you use the glutinous rice. Maybe it's unbelievable for you because the glutinous rice is something to eat, it's a kind of food. Well, it helped to consolidate the wall. Actually, every day there's water passing by. So when you are filling the glutinous rice into the protection board and you repeat that process, and gradually this protection board could be consolidated. And finally, it could resist the heat from the tidal bore. So this protection board by the Qiantang River, together with the Great Wall and the Beijing-Hangzhou Grand Canal, altogether these three are considered as the three miracles of Chinese ancient constructions. Now the tidal bore is in one single line to form one water screen. It's very huge and powerful. And the waves are dancing in the river. And in this section of the water, there are more T-shaped dams. Every 10 meters, there is another T-shaped dam. The higher density of the T-shaped dam is due to a higher density of residents every day they are under the threat of the water from the river. And here we have another landmark. Later we will show you more details about it. And people have adopted some measures to protect this landmark from the attack of the tidal water. We've got a lot of messages left by the viewers. They say that by watching the tidal bore of the Qiantang River, we have also opened new horizons, and we can forget all the worries in our daily life. And it helps to build up our aesthetics. And someone also said, "Thank you for your lovely introduction." And now our Qiantang tidal bore is still moving towards the west, and the curve is growing. Now it's in the shape of an S, especially for the head of the tidal bore. A lot of people are amazed by the Qiantang tidal bore. A few days ago, I joined the visitors to watch the tidal bore by the bank. And from time to time, they would tell to what a high degree they are amazed by the water. And every year, the Qiantang tidal bore would leave a very beautiful memory to all the visitors. For example, in ancient time, a very famous literal in China called Su Shi has written a poem on the Qiantang tidal bore. And also some other literature works to describe the beautiful natural scenery. Some people are curious about the current position of the tidal bore. Now we have already passed the site, and we are heading towards the Qiantang, another spot. We have passed the Yanguan, and we are heading towards Qiantang. Let's look at the right-hand side. There is a truck in red color on the bank. I'd like to give you some more information about this red vehicle, the red truck. In the vehicle, there are two of my colleagues. They are doing the live stream for the TV viewers. This is a tidal board chasing vehicle. Each time we will apply this vehicle to have a chase behind the tidal board. And in the CCTV 13, in this channel, you could have a look at our live stream TV program. While the vehicle is chasing, is moving together with the tidal board, you could also notice that a lot of residents in the locale, they are gathering by the bank to have a look at this beautiful scenery. What you are watching now is also being played in the TV end. So you have different groups of people from the media reporting to you from different angles, the same spectacular view of the tidal board. If you want, you could also open your TV and to see another report on the Qiantang tidal board. And this truck is still moving slowly ahead. And when the tidal board passes by this spot, it has been separated into two sections. And Chairman Mao has also written a famous poem when he's admiring the tidal board of the Qiantang River. He has used beautiful lines to describe the Qiantang tidal board and also his large vision. And to watch the Qiantang tidal board would help to open your eyes and also your mind. When you read the poems of Su Shi, the ancient poet, you could see that by the 18th of August in traditional China's lunar calendar is the best moment to watch the tidal board.
So I believe that's also a good occasion to wish you a good festival, because today is, or we talk about the 16th to 18th day of the 8th lunar month is the Qiantang River or the tidal board festival day. So you're right now watching the live stream we'll bring to you from the helicopter. In the picture you can see this is the Qiantang tidal board. We are heading to the old Yanguan, or to the old Qiantang township. We talk about Yanguan, Qiantang, actually all this, or the a big mouse, all this actually is something meaning behind. For big mouse, because there's a big gap, nothing else, because of the shape of the terrain. We talk about the Yanguan, actually that's, we talk about the thought back then that should control by the government. So that's also a stop or the station to transport the thought. So that's also because of this story behind that had the name as Yanguan or Qiantang. So because of from the name you can tell it's a place to storage the thought. So from the name of the place, we can tell the story behind it in the ancient times. So this place, you can tell this should be a really good place because have a good river with delicious food, and also the place of gathering all the salt here. So we can tell will be a very good place to taste something fresh. So if we look at from this angle, there is a really, really long T-shaped dam. That's also a very important landmark place. That's Qiantang Dam. That's also the longest dam along the Qiantang River. So every year we will also see the magnificent scene that when the Qiantang River hit the Qiantang Dam. So we talk about if they face-to-face hit to each other, let's say the wave, whether that's the Qiantang River, we talk about the tidal water can fully cover the whole place of the dam. So I believe 1 year actually the water actually already to the parking lot. So this is a really beautiful scene. We very soon will see that part. If you look at the app and also look at the TV at the same time, I also have a colleague bring you the live stream or the live reporting from Qiantang. So if you can see the apps and TV at the same time, then you can see the same picture but with different perception. All right. We're very soon coming to the highlight, but see whether the Qiantang River will eat over the Qiantang Dam or will be hit back. So if it can cover the Qiantang, then we will make a turn. All right, here we go. This is the Qing dynasty. I believe this is the 5 meters high. I believe already reached the 5 meters. And we talk that they will first hit from the south and north parts, and the rest will hit later. So we can tell right now we already see the backflow bore. So the north and the south right now coming together and form into a triangle shape. And for this backflow bore, and there will also a smog on the surface, we can tell we're coming to a beautiful scene. So this is something very different. We're coming to a wonderland. So from just a one line tidal bore right now is broken in different tidal waters, and right now flowing to the East China Sea. This is black flow bore. Just like after school, all kids really rush out. So before there's a wide line tidal bore right now coming into different heights of the waves. So I believe that's around the 15 waves. So like the older boys, they really rush out coming from the classroom and heading to the football court. And the waves in the middle, I believe they may be the boys with glasses, and they will think about the homework. We talk about Qiantang, the bag flow board, the final part, the final highlight. There are 3 highlights, and the final highlights will be hit the Qing Dynasty's dam. So we will wait and see the last highlight. Oh, right. This is the spin drift, and the highest reached 11 meters. And part of that even on the dam. So the dam actually built back to the Qing Dynasty. We talk about the formation actually break into different segments, but we can tell still, you can see this is the big wave, and they right now moving to the East China Sea. Another. So let's first look at some playback. So that's from the helicopter. That's the picture captured by the helicopter. This we also have the picture from the high-speed cameras. We talk about the DA black flow board. You can see this is a magnificent scene. You have never really seen that before, and some like the pearls and some like the jade. And this is the moment when they form the back flow board. So that's also because of the north and south tidal bore. And this is the skyrock spin drift as high as 11 meters. Right now we bring you from different angles and different cameras. And right now, the tidal bore left Qiantang, and a part of it heading to Hangzhou, and a part of the wave heading to the East China Sea. And it's gathered a lot of tourists. They're still here to capture this moment. So I believe although the tide bore left, but the people still here want to capture that moment. They want to remember this moment. And this year we also have the big police. We believe we have 2,400 police here to help to safeguard people's life and also make everything in an orderly way. We talk about the right now is heading to the upstream, and part of that heading to Hangzhou province. And there's also coming up another landmark building. What's the construction here? We were heading to big bridge. Oh, right. So let's look at the Eastern River Bridge. Oh, right. This is the Eastern River Bridge. Also the Qiantang Bridge. This is the next crossing river bridge along the Qiantang River. And we have a lot of surfers that are coming from the international continent. They're waiting the Qiantang River, and they're waiting also the Qiantang River, and they will start their surfing competition. We will also bring you the competition from our live stream, our live program. So when we enjoy the magnificent scene of the Qiantang tidal bore, but still the bridge plays its due role. A lot of cars traveling in between the two sides of the city. So let's look at the Qiantang River and the whole bridge. This is the next bridge. We talk about the Qiantang tidal bore will be around 2 kilometers to the bridge. So we look at the both sides. They will have a place reserved for sightseeing or for the tourism. So we talk about the people if they live along the Qiantang River. We talk about they will can look at the whole Qiantang River just through their windows. They can see all these at home. We believe we can see the head of the waves. All right. Very soon we will bring you the Qiantang River International Surfing Contest. So that will be a 9 international team that will compete here on the Qiantang River.
Hi everyone, my name is Liang Ye. We are now in Hangzhou to bring to you the live stream program on the International Surfing Contest. We are now at a spot called Zhejiang Dong. We know that Hangzhou City has expanded. In the past, here where we are used to be a wetland. And now with the construction, people could gather here to have a look at the international games. And there are surfers already on the motorboat to go to that site of the competition, the starting line of the competition. With me, there's a map. The Silver Dragon is the name used by the foreign surfers. Because when there's the Qiantang tidal bore passing by, the head of the tidal water is in white color. It looks like a silver dragon swimming in the river where we are now. bank, at the river bank. We also have set up our cameras. Over there you have a camera. That's our cameraman. That is also a high-resolution camera. And also the people in the red jacket, they are the workers here to guarantee the order and also the safety of the people. And this camera is a big star of our group because it can help us to close up the distance and to see what is happening far away. We are about to start our live stream program. We'll be focused on the performance of the surfers or other things. Yes, when there is a tidal bore, the surfers would land their board on the water and start to surf. With this special camera, you could feel that they are just performing in front of our eyes, and we can feel closer to the surfers. In order to guarantee a good quality of the live stream programs, we have set up this platform, and we are also selecting the pictures captured by different cameras to give you the best view of the contest. We have also cameras installed on the surface of the water. We cannot do this program from the traditional way. That's why we have applied the internet-connected facilities to give you the signals and also the pictures. Let's walk into one of the luxury working booths. Although there are no walls, but still we got a roof. Around the table, people are selecting the signals and pictures transferred back from our reporter's boat on the river. Let's have a talk with this gentleman. What is your work? We are analyzing and processing the pictures and the images collected by the surface boat. On the surface, we have installed 4 special cameras. They are different from the traditional ones. We have the TOV lens. By this camera, we can have the direct connection with the internet. We can capture the image directly by the internet. This is a camera closest to the water. You can capture the smallest movement of the surfers at a very close distance. This year, we have succeeded in closing up the distance. On the boat, we have a camera, right? Yes. And also, on the surfing board, we have 2 other cameras. And on another spot, the 4th spot is on a motorboat. That's the first time we are using the new multimedia technologies to support our live streaming. So by this end, we have collected a lot of information, but we will do the analyze and the selection to provide to you the best image. We will first go through the procedure of recording. We will do a very rapid edition. After the editing of the footage, we will finally transfer this footage to the vehicle that will give you the signal to the TV end. And we can also have a review. Thank you very much for your introduction. We are looking forward to your excellent work once the contest starts. Please follow me to see other installations. In order to give you a high-quality live stream, we cannot forget the important roles played by those facilities. This is our 9th year of collaboration with the local media. In this luxury direction booth, you have so many directors. For example, this is one of our old friend, Zhejiang. Please give us an introduction on the operation with these systems. I think things are different from Yanguan. Although the conditions are relatively simple, however, you can find people here very capable of the live streaming programs. We have 10 different positions of the camera to give you a all-angle report on the international surfing contest. What are your missions on the capture of the footage? Just now you've seen that there is a special camera to catch the head of the tidal bore. There's another 100-time telephoto lens to capture the movements of the surfer. There's another camera. That is the major camera facing us now. And besides all this, we also have installed the cameras on the boat. Yes, the cameras on the boat constitute one of the highlights of our program, because it's more adapted to the report of the surfing games. It's like we are moving the audience to the surface of the water. You are only 10 meters or maximum 15 meters away from the tides. We have collaborated with you for many years. I think the highest record you've made is 12 camera positions at the same time. Yes, exactly. At the same time, you work with 12 camera positions, and you can have a real-time pick of the best images to the audience. Is no easy job, right? Let's put it into a to put it into simple words, it's like you are working like a multiple way of CPU. You have to be multitasking. You work on the immediate images, and at the same time you expect what would be coming for the next second. Sometimes there are some emergencies. For example, you have to react immediately to a sudden scenery or a surprise thing. Yes, there are surprises every time and everywhere. You cannot predict what would happen with the Qiantang tidal bore and what are the reactions of the surfers. That is also a challenge to us directors. Now we can see that the tide is coming, and our directors, they are ready. Inside our luxury working booth, there is a seat for our animator, our monitor. Dear audience of CCTV on our different platforms, welcome to our live stream. Thank you for tuning in. We are now at Dajiangdong spot of the city of Hangzhou. We are giving you the real-time report of the international surfing contest. Behind me is a small forest, and in front of me is the Qiantang River. Today I'm with Mr. Bao, an expert of surfing. That's the way how the surfers greet each other. Say hello to everyone. Hi everyone. We think the Mid-Autumn Festival is the best time for us to surf.
So let's cut down the talks and get to the stage. So this is our stage, the stage for us. So we will come here in order to have a better picture. So we will have here with our Mr. Bao. So Mr. Bao and Mr. Zhou, we are here. We will give you the full coverage of the whole contest. And this is our so-called luxury place for us. We will give you the interpretation of the live stage competition, and of course we look at what we got yesterday. We will look at the highlight replay from yesterday. See hi here. All right, this is our yesterday content. I believe this is from yesterday footage. So this is our international competition, and I believe this is what we have here today. This is right now on the stage. This is from Australia. This is our international team. So today we have the international surfing contest. So you can see, I believe there are 9 teams here, and you can hear and even smell the wave. So they already start their journey. The whole security team and also the broadcasting team will all accompany them. I believe we also have a Hollywood team here, bring the whole live footage. And we have the Australian player, so the pumping on the surface, because right now we can tell the wave is not so favorable for them to start their journey. So they will also taste the water to see when is a good time for them to start the contest. So they will do the cut back, but still the wave is not really helping. So today is around 27 degrees Celsius and the wind is from north. So what about the wind? The wind really be an impact. So you hear this is from the water surface. That's from the motorboat. So I hope the wind will also help our players to have a good performance. So for them, they need to first test the water to see whether the wave is good enough for them to do different actions and movements. So they can do either cut back, but still right now do the pumping. So why do pumping is need to taste whether the wave is good enough. So today we'll also bring you the 360 degree. So this is from the helicopters. We also have the live broadcasting team from both sides. And of course we will make sure everyone is safe enough. So we also have the wrangling to make sure all the players heading to the correct direction. And this is our female player named Sissy, and also from China. And we also have a Wolf, that's the player from Hong Kong. I believe Sissy is right now get ready to on the surface of the river. So we also have a player from France, and start the paddle. All right, bottom turn. So it's doing the different movements. So we'll also have gained the points. So talk about the player from France. He is the 6-time champion of France, and also the French national team and WPS and the international competitions champion. And I believe this is his first time to be here. And this is our Cici, the female player, and also from China. We can tell this is how you really feel on the surface of the river. And I believe right now this is the white line tidal wall. Qiantang River, this is the only place you can surf under the bridge. So this is Dingle. This is a player. Dingle started to surf 5 years old and also got a lot of big titles. Really good at turns and flying. So let's looking forward to the good performance from Cici. That's a Chinese player. So look at Dingle actually with his left foot on the front. a lot of surfers actually are the regulars. So what is kind of regular player is they put the left foot at front. So we talk about goofy. We talk about the left hand people. But right now, if you talk about in the surfing world, goofy, that's the surfers. They have their right foot at the front. We talk about the German sterling, and they are the goofies. So this is Dingo, regular surfer. So we talk about actually whether you want your left or right foot on the front. We don't know, depend on themselves. It's by nature. We can tell the waves, actually the whole journey is around 30 kilometers. For Bob, I believe right now they are at the Jiangdong Bridge and will coming to Jianggang area. Before it's the farming land, but right now it's changed to CBD. So we talk about the theaters actually all have like a Manhattan city in United States. We talk about along the whole journey, we will see a lot of very big, beautiful scenes. So they can enjoy the waves and also can enjoy the scene along the both sides of the river. So they need to wait in the order for all the players. Of course, they will draw and decide the order. So we have the pre-qualification games. Yesterday we have Span. Span actually is a C team. They are the champions. And in 2017, and we also have the champion in 2016, that's Australia. And then tomorrow we have United States. And they were the 2015 champion team. So we also have the Chinese players here. They are also the member of a national surfing team. I believe after single, they will prepare to start their show. Look at the high-skilled players. You look at they standing on the board, on the paddle and start their journey. Actually, it's so fast. So we talk about why they have this so smooth movement. So for us, it's like we need to first get on the paddle and try our all best to stand on the paddle. That will take a long time. So we talk about Qiantang wave. Actually, we talk about something really unique. We only can see something here. Is the whole journey is around 28 to 30 kilometers. And we have the different stages of the contest. So let's first look at some playback. This is from yesterday. So the player in blue, and this is United States players. And Jimmy Sterling from Hawaii, and this Goofy with right feet on the front. So that's a standing pose. So that's a Goofy player. So this is no score if they just stand on the paddle. So we also have a barrel. This is the Phil Maka from Australia. That's rank number 2 in the international ranking, and also with a GoPro. So Maka also did a bottom turn and also with another top turn. So you can see the bottom turn with an up turn. So you can see it's like a spring roll or the barrel. We talk about the highest level is the tube riding. So basically it's like you're surfing inside the tube, inside the wave. So the champion team from last year, Span and Nickel, is also the legend player. So also entered to the finals. So I believe the ride always bring luck to them. And today we also have color green for Chinese team. Hope they will have all the green lights to the finals. we talk about according to the RAC and also the International Surfing Association. So talk about the surfing, it's like the diving. So the score is more or less the same standards. We talk about different movements, or we talk about the flying phase, we talk about 720 degree or 360 degrees. They will all have different scores. So for the standards, like 2 players per team, and they will choose the best 3 waves per day. All right. So the standards or the rules is like a gymnastic competition or like the diving competition, depends on the whole movement. Talk about that there are statistic performance. So number 1, we look at their quantity. So on each wave you can do as many movements as you want. That's the quantity part. For the quality part, we will look at for best style, we look at the quantity plus quality. We have 3 judges. 2 judges are the supporting judges, and we have 1 chief judge. They will also have the at least level 2 judges that are recognized by the international organizations. We talk about the waves at the Qiantang River because change every day. It's unpredictable. So the judges look on the boat. They will look in a very closer distance. You never notice from the eastern bank or western bank. We also use the WCL, the electronic scoring system. We will also write down manually, just in case. So yesterday we talked about it's not really favorable environment. We talk about each team, their high score should rate 30. So we give the 3 best posts, so 10 per each. So we talk about Spanish team. The total is 13.8. They enter into the finals, but that's the lowest number historically. So we also look at some highlights. So we look at look at where we sit. So we're quite close. We're just 10 minutes to the Qiantang River. Actually, I can tell you, be frankly, I was shaking. And actually, it's also my first time to give the commentary with a professional player. And actually, this is rare people can do this kind of job in China. We have some. We talk about the terminologies. Actually, we talk about a lot actually in English, but it's people not really understand what all these means. So our Mr. Bull actually also bring this a board. This is a short board. Natural and a Naco use this board to get their champions. So this is the bottom. In the middle, they will also have 3 fin. Think about the fin like a shark's fin, and also with the head part. This is a short board. So short board is more agile and lightweight, but for the amateurs or the green hat, it's really hard to control. So for all the short board, actually the Olympic items. So the short board also good at the Qiantang River, and this is special design for each players. You look at their patterns. So this is like a honey horn shape. Is make it really resilient, and also for this part. So this is a groove. Actually, we can tell the performance will not really good if you use this one because the groove is not really good. So the groove. Actually, we talk about the board actually hit it and broken it into pieces at the 6th bridge on the Qiantang River, and also because the sediment also make the board broken into pieces.
And it's a very light one. Let me have a try. Yes, I can even hold it up with one single arm. And there's also a rope to be attached on your ankle. It's called leash, and also leg rope by the Australians. And the role of the leg rope is to tie you up together with your board. Once you fall into the water, the first thing is to help you. Because the buoyancy of the board is very big, it will help you to float. And another thing to mention here is that with a foot rope, you can always keep the board with you. You will not lose it. As you know, each board also costs you a fortune. And this foot rope is very resistant. You use 2 tracks to stretch it by the 2 ends. It can be extended by 13 meters. I'm a goofy. I will put my right leg in front. I will tie it to my right leg. And when there is the eye of the tide, I will directly put my board inside and I will do the swimming movements. And finally, I will have a jump and stand on the board, and then I start with a pumping. And when there is the head of the tidal board, I will do the Borton turn. The Borton turn means that your left leg would start to push. Imagine there is the wave, and I start with a Borton. This is the Borton turn. If I start from the top of the wave towards the downside, this is the top turn. So you've mentioned lots of terms. For example, the turn, the swing, and also the safe landing on the surface of the water. Could you please show us in slow movements? So let's find an open place. Still, we have to protect this board even though it's already broken in history. Usually for the surfers, they are not very tall. However, they have a very built-up body. I think that for the Asians, especially the Chinese people, they are the best surfers because they have a good talent to balance their body. You know, there's a very famous swimmer in China. His name is Sun Yang. And you have to, first of all, you have to attach the foot rope to your foot. First, start with the paddling, and then you're ready to get up. For the beginners, you have to catch the good moment. For the beginners or those who are not so well balanced, you will first try to kneel down, and then you can slowly stand up. When you are a developed surfer or you have practiced a lot at home, you can try to take off very rapidly like the airplane. You can stand up very quickly and then you are free to do all kinds of movements. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Bao, for your introduction. This is an excellent example you've given to us. Yes. And Mr. Bao has also followed our live stream of yesterday. He said that we have done a very professional introduction on yesterday's contest. I've also communicated with a lot of Chinese surfers. I know that it's not easy to translate or to explain this game to the ordinary people. But anyway, I will do my best today. Let's look at our desk for our job. Actually, yesterday I worked on worse conditions, but today we've got a table. and also our names attached to the box. And these are the two vests. Yesterday, without the clothing, with a strong sunshine, I could not see what is on the screen. That's why I've explained to the director so that I can have a cover on my head to have a clearer view on the picture. And what you can see now is the preparatory scene. Guo Xiaolong from Hong Kong, China. This is one of the surfers from the Chinese national team. They are about to arrive at Jianggan district of Hangzhou City. This used to be a farmland, but today it has been turned out to be the CBD where we held the G20 summit. And the Jianggan district in the Chinese language means by the side of the river. And you can see that people are pioneering a spirit to work with the tides and the currents of the river and the spirit never giving up. And Mr. Bao, today we can have one of the teams out of the 3 to enter into the final. Let's hope, cross our fingers to hope that the Chinese team would be the final winner. And Xiaolang, the surfer, the Chinese surfer from Hong Kong, has never tried with this tidal board in the Qiantang River. Another 2 teams, one is from Australia, another is from France. And Xiaolang is the new generation of surfer. He has a very good style. Okay, dear viewers of the CCTV platforms and the Weibo, and please tune in tomorrow to join us in the international surfing contest. That is the end for today's report. Tomorrow, let's keep on with our report. Thank you.